All right. Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 7:30 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, May 19th, 2015, in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street in Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business that may come properly before the board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Friday, May 15, 2015, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, the Town Clerk of Westfield, the Alternative Press, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Dana, can we do a roll call?
Rich Matsesik.
Here.
Lucy Biegler.
Here.
Mark Friedman. Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Chris Langhart.
Here.
Ginny Letts.
Yes.
Gretchen Olig. Peggy Oster.
Here.
Mitch Slater.
Here. All right, if you all join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, announcements. Peggy, anything down your end?
I do. We'd like to congratulate the following Westfield High School 11th graders who have achieved a perfect score on the SAT standardized test in March of 2015. This test is widely used for college admission criteria. In math, we have Eric Swanson. In reading, we have Sarah Steiner. In math also, Emma Steerhoff. And in writing, Siddharth Ellis Warapu, and I apologize, in writing. This brings the total of perfect scores on the SAT and ACT so far for this school year to 34.
Terrific, thank you.
Okay. And the Education Fund of Westfield is sponsoring the Amazing Race for children from kindergarten through 5th grade. Families are invited to Keller Stadium on Saturday morning, June 6th, to participate in activities planned for 13 stops along the route of the event. The first session begins at 9 a.m. and the second begins at 11:30 a.m. The entrance fee is $25 per family. The Education Fund is working hard to fund teacher grants. Over the past 25 years, the Education Fund has enhanced classroom learning with over $350,000 in teacher grants.
As we announced at our March 10th board meeting, there will be no school this Friday, May 22nd, since we do not use all of our snow days. We wish everyone a nice, long, safe Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Chris?
The Westfield High School Strive Club is hosting a charity concert on Friday, May 29th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the high school auditorium. There will be classical and rock music provided by professional performers and developing musicians, and singing, food, prizes, and words of wisdom. It's a great time for family bonding, especially with planned participation in parent-child games with children from elementary to high school. All proceeds will go to continuing education in less fortunate areas of the world. Tickets may be purchased by emailing whsstriveclub@gmail.com.
Okay, this is from the high school. Congratulations to the Westfield High School Youth and Government Club, who participated in the 77th Annual YMCA Youth and Government Conference at the State House in Trenton a few weeks ago. 80 high school students were among 580 from more than 18 New Jersey high schools. Some key highlights included Westfield High School was named an outstanding delegation. Max Landau won an award for outstanding legislation. Jack Ritter and Molly Whitehead shared an award for best legal brief. Alan Fang was named an outstanding state person. Rafaela, apologize on the name, Ledamaki, Frank Guerrero, and Brianna Reinhardt were elected officers for next year's conference. 7 students served as officers for this year's conference and worked since last summer to help organize the event. They were Jorge Ledesma, Brianna Reinhardt, Andrew Zale, Frank Guerrero, Ed Delarso, Corin Kramer, and Isabel Gelfand. Olivia Kuzman, Emma Pettit, Ryan Solati, Jack Reinhardt, Chanel Schum, Cameron Scalera, and Ben Halevi all passed legislation during the conference. And Jorge Ledesma, Brianna Reinhardt, and Ellie Smith were all selected to participate in the Council for National Affairs in North Carolina this summer. Quite an accomplishment, once again, for these students and their advisors, David Della Fera and Daniel Faribault. And congratulations to all the YAG folks. Great job.
From the elementary school, as part of the nationwide Pennies for Patients campaign, children at McKinley Elementary School in Westfield collected over $2,700 to benefit the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. This money collected is almost double the amount collected by students last year. Way to go, McKinley. And I don't know if anybody else is going to announce this. Are you going to announce the tennis team?
I just have the next
Westfield boys tennis team, high school tennis team, are the champions of the New Jersey Group 4 Section 2.
Great.
You saw that in the paper this morning. Congratulations, boys. We look forward to seeing you maybe as group champions and on to the tournament champions.
All right, the next Board of Education meeting will be held Tuesday, June 9th at 302 Elm Street. We will recognize the intermediate and high school teachers of the year who were nominated by students, parents, and faculty members for excellence in teaching. You will hear more about these teachers and their awards on June 9th. With that, I have one last very special announcement I'd like to do from the podium. I have the pleasure this evening to recognize students in our music and drama programs who have recently received state and regional recognition for their exceptional talent. As I call your name, if you would please step to the podium to accept a certificate from the Westfield Board of Education in honor of your achievement, and then please just stay in the front of the room and we'll go from there. First, we'll pay tribute to the students selected for the 2015 Region 2 Orchestra and Symphonic Band. These high school students auditioned with hundreds of other students in the region and were chosen for their excellence as musicians. They include the following: Dale Baird, Michael Haig, Alistair Kapadia, and Albert Chen. Okay, not able to attend this evening are Su Min Chung and Amy Liang. They will receive our certificate of recognition in their classroom. We also congratulate their teachers, Craig Stanton and Chris Vitale. And Mr. Vitale also led an award winning Westfield High School Marching Band, which earned high marks in this year's competitions. Congratulations to you. With respect to fall drama, this fall the Westfield High School Drama Department held performances of the Laramie Project, which included 21 students in the cast and approximately 65 students on the crew. At the Montclair State University Theater Night Awards on May 11th, the play won the Outstanding Production of a Drama Award. Westfield High School senior Daniel Coelho was presented the award for outstanding performance by an actor in a supporting role. The recipients of the Theater Night Awards are selected through a rigorous, multi-stage adjudication process following viewing of more than 50 school plays statewide. Unfortunately, supporting actor Daniel Coelho could not be here this evening because he's performing in the Westfield High School choral concert. Here this evening to accept our congratulations for winning the Outstanding Production of a Drama Award are representatives of the cast and crew and drama teacher Dan Devlin.
Students are actually all of the correspondence.
Ah, okay. Okay, and we are anxiously awaiting final decisions on several nominations that Westfield High School received for the spring musical, Urinetown. It has received 14 nominations and 1 honorable mention from the Paper Mill Rising Star Awards Committee, which is really impressive. Now moving on to other drama awards. At the intermediate level, students from Kimberly Johnny's 8th grade drama classes at Roosevelt Intermediate School participated in the 2015 Theater Fest on Saturday, March 21st. Several of the students who received awards are here this evening, and they are as follows. Sophia Toglia. Sarah Lade. Emma Hamilton. Emma Downer. Mary Joy Saddam. All right. Those students who we also want to congratulate, but who could not attend tonight, are as follows. Allison Brown, Sophia Lemberg, Brianna Hatch, Rachel Hemmelberg, and Julia Sackett. They will receive our certificates from their teachers. Also at the intermediate level, James Doyle student from Roosevelt and Trevor Sindorf students from Edison auditioned and were selected in the Region 2 Intermediate Symphonic Band. We congratulate the following. From Roosevelt, Alex Cha. And Michael Charlton. And from Edison, Austin Chen. And Brooke Walden. And Aprina Wang. Two students taught by Amanda Gant at Edison Intermediate School were chosen for the Regional Intermediate String Orchestra. And I'd like to present certificates to the following. Morgan Eng. And Dylan McCann. All right, we will give Dylan the certificate with his through his teacher. In other recognitions, the Bucks County Playhouse. On April 17th at the 48th Annual Bucks County Playhouse Student Theater Festival, where hundreds of students compete from all over the region, Westfield High School was well represented, with students receiving the following awards: Outstanding Performance by an Actor, Michael Points. An Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble, Jacqueline Daleman, Lauren Eshow, Madeline Huddleston, Madeline Rosenthal, and Jesse Zimmerman. And now for our choral student recognitions. 5 Westfield High School students successfully auditioned for the 2015 Region 2 Mixed Chorus and 3 for the Women's Chorus. They all are performing this evening at the Westfield High School Choral Concert, and they will receive their certificates from their teachers. We congratulate those who are selected for the Mixed Chorus: Noah Brahm, Catherine Moore, Abby Rothenberg, Laura Suras, and Max Wazalewski. And for the Women's Chorus, congratulations to Laura Brumfield, Allison Jarzelsky, and Melanie Snyder. We know that these students and their vocal music teacher, John Brzezowski, are entertaining the audience in the auditorium this evening, and we look forward to watching it on TV 36. Clearly, we have a multitude of talent here in the Westfield Public Schools. The Westfield Board of Education is very proud of these students whose hard work and many hours of practice were recognized throughout the state with numerous awards. Some of our students had the opportunity for international recognition this spring when the Westfield High School Band and Wind Ensemble performed in Europe. What an incredible experience. Our students receive a comprehensive education here in Westfield with experiences that enhance lessons in the classroom. One such experience took place on March 26th when world-renowned conductor Colonel Arnauld D. Gabriel accepted an invitation by Chris Vitale to come to his wind ensemble class. And we'd like to show you an excerpt of that visit that is now appearing on the high school's This is Westfield series on TV 36.
This past March, the WHS Band hosted a very special visitor, Colonel Gabriel, a World War II veteran and a retired conductor of the U.S. Air Force Band. He visited the school to give advice to the WHS bands in preparation for an upcoming assessment.
Colonel Gabriel is a World War II veteran and retired conductor of the U.S. Air Force Band. He visited the school on March 26th to help the wind ensemble after the CJMEA Concert Band Festival.
Well, I played in a high school band when I was in the 7th grade. Graduated on June 22nd. 6 days later, June 28th, I joined the Army with the infantry in World War II. I had over 200 days on the front line as a machine gunner.
After that, he came home and he was working in a factory in his hometown, and his band director encouraged him to go to school, and he ended up going into music at Ithaca College in New York. Got his music education degree, got involved in the military in their bands, and was a military conductor for a bunch of smaller units that were stationed throughout the country and the world. And I knew that he was going to be here in the area adjudicating our festival this week, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to ask him to come in and work with the wind ensemble. You know, I think they learned a little bit about the music they were working on with him. That's probably the simple answer. But I think they also learned that making music is something that you can do for your entire life. And I think, you know, no one's a greater example than that than someone who's about to turn 90, you know, in May. And he's been doing this for a long time, longer than I've been alive and longer than any of the students have been alive. And he still is really passionate about music.
I think music is so very important in this crazy world we're in now. It is truly the international language. I have many stories about the impact of music when I was in Europe, especially, and with the Air Force Band. It can't change international relations, but it can sure help.
Colonel Gabriel has made every student in the wind ensemble more knowledgeable about how their music adds to the entire performance. He has also inspired many musicians to pursue in music for the rest of their lives.
3 bands performed in the CJMEA Festival. The Symphonic and concert bands both received a silver rating, and the Wind Ensemble received a gold rating, which is one of only 6 in the central region of the state. Mr. Vitale and the students would like to thank Colonel Gabriel for coming to work with the students to improve their sound.
Well, that certainly is an example of the opportunities afforded our students, which enhance their education and can certainly help shape their future. With that, congratulations again to our students and to their teachers.
Oh, really? Two times. How much is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let me get-
Let's do this
All right, at this time, I'd like to recognize the public for agenda items only. Seeing no one come to the podium, we'll move to personnel. We'll move to the minutes. I'd ask the board to approve the minutes of the board meeting held on April 28, 2015, May 5th, 2015, and the private minutes of each of April 28th and May 5th, 2015. Have a second? Jenny, thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I need to abstain from May 5th in both instances. I wasn't not here at the meeting. With that, I'll go to personnel, and I'd ask the board to consider personnel items 1 through 21, which are in the agenda, and then 22 through 24, which were at the table.
Second.
Have a second? Mitch, thank you. Any comments or questions? All right, Dana?
Rich Matesic?
Yes.
Lucy Beegler?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Langhardt?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
And if I might, I'm sorry, there are 2 retirements I'd like to announce. Tonight I'm announcing with regret the retirements of 2 longtime staff members who have served Westfield students for a total of 58 years. The head custodian at Jefferson School is retiring, and he has worked in that building for over 21 years, keeping it clean and running smoothly. He has been flexible, and he has always been willing to lend a hand to staff and students. He will particularly miss the regular contact with the first graders, whom he assisted in their transition to elementary school. Patsy is proud that each year he memorized the names of all of Jefferson's students, and he frequently also knew their family members' names as well. And I will say he was always a smiling face, no matter whether he was working in a hot school or outside shoveling snow. He'd have a smile for you. Kathy Brennan has been a resource room and preschool handicap teacher in Westfield for 37 years. She has worked in 6 of our 10 buildings and has helped to make Edison, and years ago helped to make Edison a comfortable and welcoming location for 3- and 4-year-olds when the pre-K program was housed there. Kathy is pleased that she played a role in creating a successful integrated pre-K program in the district, and she has given every student the thrill of a new learning experience. Kathy's warmth and expertise will be missed, and we wish both of them well in their retirement.
Ginny?
Sorry, I didn't think quickly enough to point out number 14 on the agenda of personnel, which is our STEM summer camp program. This year is occurring for 3 weeks.
That's correct, yes.
So I think we should all be proud that we have staff available and can offer this opportunity for children. And what ages are they?
They're from ages for the STEM camp from
grades 3 through rising to 8th grade.
So grades 3 through current grades
Rising 3 through 8.
Okay, Rising 3 through Rising 8. Should be fun. Look forward to hearing about it.
All right, with that, we'll go to facilities. I would only note that the Facilities Committee has been looking at various projects throughout the district. As you'll hear in finance, finance will reference those projects. We will have a full report in probably our first June meeting, if not the second, on the various items that we've categorized as priority, and based on a priority, what the projects are. With that, we'll go to long-range planning. Ginny?
The Long-Range Planning met on May 15th. We had a full meeting of topics. The first topic was our parent community survey, and I believe we're going to have a presentation of the results at the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay. So the committee was able to review the results with the administration and give some feedback for presentation of the material for meeting. We also had a conversation about the timeline of our the next steps in our long-range planning process, the proposal for developing our strategic plan, and I believe that'll be rolled out when we talk about the community survey results. And finally, we talked about enrollment projections for this coming year. There are a number of hotspots that Dr. Dolan is watching, and at this point in time, they are just that. I believe that she is recommending that in the short term, some policy conversations take place about giving her the opportunity to make certain placement decisions over time. So we'll be having that conversation, I think, in Policy Committee. Give a little more flexibility to placing students as they arrive within the district of the summer or late spring, and we find that we have to reposition children based on optimal class sizes for the district purposes. So next week we'll hear from the results of the community survey and then follow along with the timeline and conversations about managing a strategic plan for the district.
All right. Thank you very much. Policies, Lucy.
Okay, I would like to have the board consider policies 1214, 3214, and 4214, all conflict of interest policies. They were in your packet, and 5330 and 5500. Have a second?
Second.
Jenny, any questions? Okay, Dina?
Rich Matezek.
Yes.
Lucy Biegler.
Yes.
Brendan Galligan.
Yes.
Chris Leinhardt.
Yes.
Ginny Lights.
Yes.
Peggy Astor.
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, sorry.
Curriculum, instruction, and program. Ginny.
I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
For Gretchen. The items on the agenda have been replaced by the items on the addendum. So if you'll follow me, we'll start with item number 1, and I would ask that we place a motion on the table to approve the following curricula for first reading. Chemistry 2 AP, ESL K-12, Spanish 5 Honors, and Magazine Journalism. And may I have a second? Thank you, Mitch. So the SIP notes were comprehensive this week. Chemistry 2 AP is a revision to curriculum, significant changes in content, lab investigations. Course is noted to be equivalent to Chemistry 101 at the college level. And the committee is recommending that we approve the revised curriculum. ESL K-12 is a revision aligned with world-class instructional design assessment consortium English language proficiency standards. This is one of the most interesting programs, I believe, personally, that we offer within our varied and wide curriculum. It's one of the most difficult curriculum documents to work on because it encompasses K through 12 grades and language proficiency differentiated widely among students who arrive here, some neither speaking nor writing nor reading English. And so it is the job of our two English as a second language teachers to provide opportunity for these children to gain language, listening skills, writing skills, speaking skills, and reading skills. And I believe we do it very, very well. The committee also recommends that we adopt this revised curriculum. Spanish 5 honors. Spanish 5 honors is replacing our prior course of our Spanish for AP literature, which is not widely used in colleges for credit purposes. Colleges will choose either a language, one of the AP fourth level Spanish courses, language or literature. Generally language is what is used. And so this is an opportunity for high level students to continue their advanced work in Spanish at an honors level in their 5th year of study. Again, the committee is recommending that we approve this. And there's one more very interesting course. This time we have the opportunity to look at magazine journalism. Magazine journalism is a new full-year elective for the journalism department, and it is offering another alternative to students interested in journalism but who don't want to specifically dedicate themselves to the rigor of the magazine format of High-Zi. The format of this course offers longer form narratives that are developed by students. It also allows workshop opportunities for students to serve as reporters, editors, videographers, and photographers who can produce, in the end, a publication in a print medium and also put their outcomes on a website. So this is, I think, a nice complement to the journalism courses that we have in place, and it adds breadth to opportunity so that students who aren't specifically targeting work in High-Zi have another outcome for their journalistic development skills. So the committee also recommends that we adopt that curriculum. Any questions, comments? Okay, Dana.
Rich Matessa?
Yes.
Lucy Biegler?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Leinhardt?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
The second motion I'd like to place on the table is to approve revised American Studies class at Westfield High School to include an honors designation within a pilot program. And may I have a second, please? Thank you, Lucy. Well, let me refer to my notes for a second on this guy. So this is an opportunity for, the motivation for this class has come about from competition in the junior year for an honors alternative to current AP courses and honors courses within the social studies offering. And in order to attract and provide opportunity for those students who wish a humanities alternative, the recommendation is to provide one classroom of a humanities course called American Studies and offer two different paths that students can take differentiated within this course. Some students will be following a regular education path and will be graded at a regular education level, and some students will opt for an honors interpretation of course material and assignments. They will have a breadth and depth of activity that's different. They will be given different kinds of analysis or research. They will be expected to do a different project outcome than the regular students, but they will have the same opportunity to be in the classroom together for that topic. Mr. Panara, do you want to make any extra comments on that? That's okay. So the committee recommends that this proposal be adopted. It is a one-year pilot. We are looking forward to having a curricular document developed over the summer so that it will guide the work that's done in the classroom starting in September. And that document is waiting to be developed until we decide whether we're going to approve this course. So this course in 11th grade American Studies, the humanities, would have a focus on language arts as well as social sciences. It would simultaneously enroll students for regular or honors credit, and it would provide differentiated instruction for each type of credit. And there are a number of students who have responded to a survey and have said that they would be willing and very interested in taking this course, as well as 12 students who are already enrolled in this course. So we think that it could be a very interesting opportunity for them this fall.
It sounds
starting in
similar
September.
to the ninth, like there's a ninth grade humanities class, so it's along the same lines
Yes.
then. Okay.
Yes. It's taught by two teachers, and it has a
Right, yes.
two-period block schedule.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And also, we're looking at it for pilot purposes because it'll be taught in one classroom with honors and regular students. So we really want to see how that, in this two-period scenario, plays out over the year as to whether it's successful, how many kids would sign up for it, is there a need to have an honors class versus a really see how it plays out this year for the first year.
We really wanted to focus on not losing students who wanted to have the opportunity for honors credit, advanced work and honors credit in their junior year.
Very creative.
So we're hoping that within the environment of this classroom, the teachers can be supportive of each of the students in their own way to differentiate what they need, as well as make them all feel independently and collaboratively comfortable with each other and doing their work.
I believe we tried this 2 years ago with the Latin 4 classes.
We have had, we've done this before at the high school. Interestingly, we've also done it at the elementary school.
Right.
Years ago, we had a combined 2-3 maybe, or 3-4 grade. So it's not totally outside the realm of possibility. It takes a lot of extra effort and really seasoned instructors whom we have on board with us who developed the course and have been really successful at it. So they came up with this as their option. And the committee felt that after talking about it for several weeks, that grilling down into the details of how it could work and under what circumstances and with what kinds of guiding materials and criteria for assessment, and the fact that there would be real differentiation and different choices of work that would be expected, that it could actually be very successful. So the committee was willing to offer it up and give it a try. Any questions? Okay.
Rich Matesic?
Yes.
Lucy Beegler?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Leinhardt?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ginny, did we intend to remove 2 and 3 from the agenda? On page 7.
I think we're removing everything, and we're going.
No, actually, 2 is second reading.
Oh,
Curriculum
you
for
want me to
second
go
reading.
ahead? That was just.
And 3rd is the field
The field
trips.
trips.
Right.
It's on that next page.
Oh, I'm going
Yeah.
1 to 4, and 2 and
Right.
3 I'm continuing?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. Then I'd ask for a second on this motion to approve the curriculum for second reading, environmental science,
Second.
and the visual and performing arts of instrumental music and vocal music listed here. Thank you, Mitch. Questions? Comments? Thank you.
Rich Matesic?
Yes.
Lucy Beegler?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Leinhardt?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
Number 3 on the agenda. What golly. Okay, that was done. I did 4. 3 is the following overnight field trips. Westfield High School, Spanish, trip, students to Spain, and Westfield High School French students to France. These are 2016 spring trips. May I have a second? Thank you, Lucy. So this is, these trips are introduced nicely in advance to give students and their parents opportunity to discuss their choices, to raise money, and to talk about what kinds of work could be done through these field trips. These have been offered in the past. These are students who, in each case, will be hosted by families in the country that they visit, and they will be visiting students who have come in the Spanish trip anyway. The Spanish students will come here in the fall, and then our Spanish students will visit those students in their homes in the spring. I think the French is a little bit different. I'm not sure that they do that. I don't think so. Any questions? We did review the fact that there is, several years ago, we revised the procedures and the process for parent and student review of their commitments and expectations for behavior on these trips. So with those in place, and having used those for the last several years, the committee was again in favor of supporting these two trips. Questions?
Thank you.
Rich Matesic?
Yes.
Lucy Biegler?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Lineheart?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Mitch Slater?
Yes.
I just want to make one comment, Rich, excuse me. The Spanish trip is 2 weeks long, and the French trip is 1 week long. Both of them take place within the spring break, our spring break, and the Spanish trip also has another period of time because schools, some of their schools are not in session when our school is not in session, and we wanted necessarily to make sure that our students get to visit their school and attend school with their host Spanish students. So that's why it's a little bit longer, and they will be given assignments when they're missing our school days.
Thank you.
Just so you're aware.
All right, finance. Mitch, you want to cover that?
Sure. I'd like to get approval for finance number 1 through 14. We have also an addendum here. There's number 3, I guess, changed slightly, and number 14 was not on the original list. Just approving all of those. Second, Ginny. And I just want to point out to thank number 12 and 13. We're accepting a gift of $30,000 from Mr. George Case, a Westfield High School alum, to purchase Chromebooks for Project 79. We thank Mr. Case very much. And also accepting a gift of $111.86. Is that correct? Not 111,000. It's going to be quite a bus. From the Westfield Coalition for the Arts to the Westfield High School Choral Department to pay for transportation to the Westfield Housing Center on June 11th, 2015. So we thank the Westfield Coalition for that.
Could I ask one question?
Sure.
Dana, on out-of-district placements for our extended school year program, I just wondered if you had a sense of how the dollar amount compares to last year.
I don't, but Mike probably does.
Thank you. Just for the sake of keeping a trend in mind.
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you exactly.
That's okay.
And I would anticipate that it's increased from previous years, but I don't know the exact amount, but I could provide you with that information in the near future.
Thanks. Just send us a note, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you very much. And if there's anything that you notice that's significantly different or about the needs of the children or the number of the children, it would be
Sure.
appreciated.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike.
Dana?
Rich Matesic?
Yes.
Lucy Biegler?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Chris Lineheart?
Yes.
Ginny Lights?
Yes.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Mitch Slater.
Yes. And in addition, I have a statement I want to read on behalf of the Finance Committee on something that we've been working on for a while. Mr. Friedman, the chair, helped put this together. He is away tonight, so I'm going to read it in his absence, but it's for the board as well as for the public. So each year, members of this board work with the administration to develop an operating budget that'll support the 6,300 students of our district. Our goals are simple: provide the very best education that we can for our students within the budgetary limitations that we have. We believe that year after year, this district achieves its goal. We work hard to get better at the services we provide, but with ever-increasing healthcare costs, the rising costs of special education, and the lack of state funding to support these rising costs, while working within a 2% budget cap, there's little left over from the operating budget to support capital initiatives. The current state rules do not allow us to save for a rainy day beyond our 2% of our budget, which for us amounts to roughly $1.8 million. We're happy to report that due to the strong financial management of this district, we maintain these funds each and every year and will continue to do so, to be used only as emergency funding should the needs arise. New Jersey school districts, including Westfield, have a long history of funding capital projects through the sale of bonds. Over the last 21 years, Westfield residents have supported 8 bond referendums totaling over $80 million, and we thank you very much for that support. Our board operates as a 9-person board, but we're also on many committees within the larger group. The Facilities Committee is charged with maintaining a 5-year rolling plan that is used to identify and prioritize our needs. Once that is done, they make recommendations through the Finance Committee for what needs to be funded. Finance will then bring to the full board the priorities of the Facilities Committee with a recommendation of how to fund the projects. In the most recent review of our capital projects, the Facilities Committee has identified what has been called our Priority 1 projects. These are projects that must be completed within the next 12 to 24 months as identified by our engineers. Unfortunately, they're not the most sexy projects that we all want to do. Instead, they're the necessities that must be done, such as the continuing replacement of aging boilers, the replacement of fire alarm systems, the replacement of aged clocks and PA systems. Additionally, we must make renovations to buildings to provide handicap accessibility. We need to replace floors. We need to make further infrastructure investments in switches and Wi-Fi at the elementary level. This is not an exhaustive list, simply an example of the many projects that we must focus on. The total estimated cost of these Priority 1 projects is approximately $9 million. The only way to fund these projects will be through the issuance of bonds. So, you might be thinking, why now? Well, we maintain 12 buildings, with our oldest building being McKinley School, which was built in 1908. The average age of all the buildings is around 75 years old. For 10 months of the years, these buildings support over 7,000 people, 5 days per week, and many other activities over the weekend. In order for us to maintain these facilities for many years to come, we must make the necessary repairs and improvements that our engineers suggest. We have a rigorous vetting process, and we only do the projects that are either absolutely necessary or allow for us to meet our goals of providing the best education possible to our students. As to the financing of these projects, interest rates continue to be in our favor, but potentially they might be rising. Projects will not get any less expensive in the future, and many of the projects that have been identified as immediate needs will qualify for 40% debt service funding from the state. For us to be good stewards of our school for the future, we believe that a bond sale in the coming months is required. Over the next few board meetings, this board will be discussing in detail the projects that we believe must be done, the timing of a bond sale, and how the costs will impact the taxpayer, something that we take very, very seriously. Thanks. Any questions, anyone on the board? Okay.
All right. Legislation, Brendan.
I actually have a report tonight. We met on May 6th and discussed all sorts of legislation that's been proposed or talked about in the last 2 years, and decided that we're going to focus the bulk of our efforts going forward to work with our legislators, Kane and Bramnick, and to specifically look at special ed funding and our extraordinary special ed aid that we get once a year. Particularly how to either increase or at least secure it going forward so that we have some sort of control on the budgeting process. Full report will be emailed out to you guys on Friday.
Thank you.
Brendan, I don't know, you may have noticed today, or you may notice shortly, I think it's the Assembly that passed a bill to go to the Senate to talk about repealing or stopping these cap on superintendent salaries.
Yeah, I believe it was the Senate.
Oh, Senate did it?
Yeah.
Senate to go to the Assembly. Thank you, Nia Gill.
All right, thank you, Brennan. Technology, Mitch.
No report tonight.
Thank you, Mitch. I'd ask the board to note the notes for the record. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Any liaison reports? All right, I would then recognize the public for questions and or comments on any topic. If you just come to the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Doyle, and I live at 48 Tamaqua Way. I am here representing the Westfield Instructional Support staff. On a personal note, I am the mother of 5 Westfield graduates, and I am a proud, brand new American citizen. Our citizenship ceremony 2 weeks ago saw 80 people from 30 countries become citizens of one country, the United States of America. It was a surprisingly moving and proud moment for me. In his video message to us, President Obama encouraged us to get involved in civic affairs. He urged us to write letters to the editor, communicate with our elected officials, make our opinions known, especially if we don't agree. So here I am. In historical perspective, only 5 years ago, 106 members of our association had been reduced in force or ripped. That year, 2010, is the year of the famous downward spike on the graph, when state aid, as a percentage of our budget, was at its lowest. At that time, we spoke about the concerns of our association. Concerns that despite all of our contributions to the education of our students, to the safety and security of Westfield High School, despite being in positions over 20 years as partners in education, despite the increase in the number of paraprofessionals necessary in special education, at that time, we were treated more like temporary support staff than permanent partners in the educational process. Now, it's 2015, and to quote Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again. Today, we have 140 paraprofessionals. The need for paraprofessional support has not just remained stable, it has continued to blossom. This parallels what is happening in education nationally. Paraeducators are still the fastest growing segment of public education. The balance, however, has changed. New paraprofessionals are often hired as part-time employees to reduce the benefit cost. Today, 88 are full-time employees compared to 99 in 2010. 51 are part-time today compared with 6 in 2010. In other words, 5% were part-time in 2010 and 36% are part-time today. A change of 31% over 5 years, which averages out to about 6% a year. Each change or addition of a half-time position was considered carefully based on the needs of our special education students. Until today, the process has proceeded cautiously and wisely. Now, much to our dismay, 50% of our full-time staff has been eliminated in one fell swoop. 44 of our 88 full-time staff have not been rehired to their prior full-time positions. The average length of service for the top 20 RIFT employees is 10 years, with 2 having 24 years in the pension system. So what has this group of people been asked to do? Nearly all have been asked to return as part-time employees without health care benefits. We well understand and appreciate the value of our benefits. Without them, we join the army of low-paid workers whose contribution is measured only by time clocked in. What does this represent to the Board of Education? A combined salary and benefit reduction in excess of $1 million from the lowest cost segment in a sorely needed educational area. This is by no means an achievement. If the board were only about dollars and cents, this might make sense. I know that you care deeply about the well-being and education of the entire student population. What does this say to the paraprofessional staff? We realize your value and want you to stay, but we will now appreciate your drastically discounted labor. We will let you stay here to keep down the cost to our budget, but you are not welcome to join the rest of the family as equal members. Are we now to assume that our area of special education is more vulnerable to fiscal manipulation, or are we simply the path of least resistance? Why is full-time support important? The partnership of a full-time paraprofessional with a student or students engenders a bond and an ownership by the paraprofessional in the success of those students. This level of unheralded success only comes from experience and consistency combined with the stability and integrity of the support relationship. Over the years, Westfield has hired and maintained a high-quality paraprofessional staff, many who consider this job their vocation, their passion, and yes, their calling. They bring a high level of professionalism that dollar for dollar is unsurpassed in other districts. We are known by many titles: paraprofessional, paraeducator, instructional aide, behavioral aide. Regardless of how we are acknowledged, we take our position seriously. We are dedicated to our students. We have felt their struggles, praised their successes, and understood what a difference we have made in their lives every day. We know that the turnover in part-time staff is considerable, many of them only taking the job in hopes of getting a full-time position. Clearly, this is now unlikely in their future. Moving forward, will you attract and sustain the same quality staff, or see the same sense of loyalty and long-term commitment from a part-time employee who understands under this plan they have no job security, no benefits, and a meager yearly salary? At the end of the day, will this cost you more money in terms of more students again being sent out of district? The combined salary and benefit cost of one paraprofessional in district is still thousands of dollars less than the cost of one out-of-district placement. We are concerned what will happen to Westfield students and Westfield's reputation for delivering high-quality education. Where will the consistency be when delivering state-mandated IEP goals with so many part-time employees who may or may not be vested in Westfield's educational success? Or from the student side, how will they be able to adapt to two different personalities? Will there be a challenge for the teachers and an additional burden for them? We all followed the 2015-2016 budget presentations. We read the board's guiding change document stating it would be unacceptable to make changes that are inequitable. We believe that a reduction of this magnitude in one association working in special education without question qualifies as most inequitable. This business decision disproportionately affects the paraprofessional staff. In some cases, there will be real, catastrophic life consequences, which will drive these experienced paraprofessionals away from education, and they will be unlikely to return since the environment for employment appears mercurial and is at best uncertain. They devoted years in service to Westfield and have had little acknowledgement from the board of their contributions, not even a public message of thanks, and we are so sorry we have to do this. We understand the need for fiscal restraint in a time of expanding needs and narrowing funding. However, what is woefully difficult to understand or justify is the abrupt 50% reduction in full-time support staff at a time where no observable change or decrease in the number of special students has occurred. We fully understand that healthcare costs have become a major issue in running an educational system. But let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Our years of dedication and success speak for themselves. What I'm asking you to do tonight is to rethink the ramifications that this will unquestionably have on our system. I'll not belabor you again this evening with the number of devoted employees who, with the loss of medical benefits, will not be able to continue their work in Westfield. I know it's not your intent to have people resign, but this will inevitably happen. You, the members of the board, have difficult decisions to make, and without a doubt, you have all shown yourselves to put students first. My purpose today is to ask you, as we proceed and evaluate the needs of our students, that you consider whether this radical change is correct for the students or simply the path of least resistance to reduce your budget. Consider the impact of this decision on the long-term success and reputation for achievement by the Westfield Board in the area of special education. Let me thank you in advance for your reconsideration. Most importantly, our students thank you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Any other comments or questions from the public? Any comments from anyone? With that, I would ask the board to approve the following resolution. Resolved that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, personnel pending or anticipated litigation, and pending or anticipated contract negotiations. It's further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. Second. Jenny, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Move to private session.